All right, so here we go. Yes, a lot happening around Space Marine 2 today. We got new official stuff from the dev team to go over, and also new replies from the devs about some worries around the game. Plus, some new concerns around that year one roadmap that we definitely need to go over. Plus, one feature advertised on that roadmap that might be blown out of proportion, and why you need to really check your hype levels about this one. And some critical updates about the reward system for in-game items. You got to know this, and why you need to take action and do this right now. You know what? Check this out right here. So to celebrate the launch of Space Marine 2, I'm giving away one copy to one lucky subscriber. So check out the pinned comment for a chance to win a copy of Space Marine 2. But check it out. We got some brand new screenshots from the Focus website. These are beautiful. Look at this, showcasing some of the amazing armor sets that you can actually get and acquire. That one is probably my favorite one out of these shots here. Let me know which one is yours, by the way. But look at the weaponry on display as well. This just looks absolutely freaking badass. Let me tell you what. I know I said at the beginning of the video, check your hype levels, but this is definitely not helping for sure. These just look absolutely stunning. And yeah, also, I'm going to throw a link in the description below so you can check out a website where you can download some really cool wallpapers and be prepared. But these keep going on and on. I actually think they added a bit more here, but let me know which one is your favorite. And it looks to me that the community is super hyped over the chaos customization in this one. I think that's going to be super popular. But yeah, we got to talk about the year one battle plan as seen right here. There's some controversies going on around some of the details about this, including this right here. It says Ultramarines champion armor will be heavy class exclusive. As I figured so, but here's confirmation for those who thought otherwise. And yeah, it goes over the fact that yes, this is going to be exclusive to one class. Now it says this, it also can't be customized in any way. A real gut punch, since one of my main criticisms of the first game was that the chapter champions have a ton of unique looking armor parts that couldn't be used to customize our custom Marines. And it says like no swapping armor parts or absolutely nothing, not even paint, neither. It's just one whole skin. And some people have a problem with this, but it gets a little bit more interesting as we go into this. It says this, Saber Focus, please don't lock chapter specific customization to a class. People are begging for them to open up these customization options for the class. It says, guys, come on. Darktide is the perfect example that senseless locks are what ruins our fun. I want to become an Ultramarines champion with at least the shoulder pads as assault. I do not want to play heavy. Please make at least portion of these epic chapter relevant customization pieces available to other classes. I beg you. Now, there are some interesting takes about this. There might actually be a reason why they decided to take this path. Here is one of the replies, which is definitely some insight here. It says those cosmetics include weapon specific stuff to fit each other, thus minimal clipping. For example, it's either a full and glorious cosmetics or way less glory but not locked behind class. Both ways sucks. It's just what is a lesser issue. And someone replied here saying, yeah, I think people forget that the different armor types are actually fairly varied in size. Learned that the hard way when I bought a chapter pack for some physical figures, and a portion of the pieces wouldn't fit on the unit types I was making. So it seems like there's actual design limitations when it comes to designing some of these armors. And of course, the heavy is going to actually structurally be different from an assault armor piece. And that's where you can actually get some major problems when developing the artwork and stuff like that. It's still a shame that these pieces aren't universal. I still feel like there has to be a way where they can pull that off somehow. But let me know your take on this. If this is a huge bummer for you, if you think they should change this up in the future or not, sound off in the comments down below. Then we got a noob question here. It says Ultramarines aren't blue, at least the armor. And yeah, that is definitely making some people scratch their heads. But someone did reply saying, so those to my knowledge are successor chapters of the Ultramarine. So the more you know. And, you know, there's going to be clearly a reward system in place for this game. And Focus actually announced a new community. And this is super important. I can't overstate this, that this website can actually be utilized to obtain rewards, it looks like. So I went ahead and signed up and checked it out myself. And as you could see, if you go to the website, we already have some interesting downloadable wallpapers that you can actually just acquire for free. But you'll note here the legend says game. So they are going to apparently have some in-game items that it looks like you can acquire from this menu here from their website. So I say it's extremely important to go ahead and sign up. Check out the link in the description below so you're not caught off guard by this. When it comes launch time, it might be extremely useful to have this ready to go before the game actually launches and releases. But yeah, heading on over to the community portal of their brand new Focus Together website, there was some interesting discussions as well and some clarification around Season 1. And here's the question: access to seasonal content after a season is done. This is a big question. Is there going to be FOMO type content in the game? It says, hey, I was just reading the roadmap that was released and was curious as to whether or not you can go back and obtain the older seasonal content once it has passed. Think Halo Infinite and its historical battle pass system. My girlfriend is a huge Dark Angels fan, but may not be able to get the game when the champion pack, etc. comes out. Thanks in advance. And then we got a reply here from No Rush. Let's scroll down here. It says, one of the admins answered this question in another thread. They said that season content will always be available for purchase. I imagine you aren't buying it season to season, and instead you just buy the season pass for the 4 phases. The best way to do season, in my opinion, if you're not chasing FOMO based engagement. So the more you know, if you were kind of concerned about that, that is great news right there. And yeah, another reply here as well. It says this: yes, everything already released each season stays in the game forever. This one comes from an official admin out there. So hopefully that clears up some possible misinformation out there. But also we have this. It says, just to clarify, will there be ultra-wide support on launch or sometime later in Season 1? And the response is this: ultra-wide support will come a few weeks after the release on September 9th. And of course, some people were totally bummed by this, saying that, hey, I want to play the game in early access on September 6th, and you're not going to provide that type of support. So yeah, this is definitely a tricky one and a bummer for sure. Now, we got to talk about one feature that was advertised with Year 1, of course, and some people apparently are overhyping this, and that is the new enemy type, as they did say, is going to be coming with Year 1. Now, we have this right here out on Reddit. It says, tone down your expectations for this new enemy. Overhype can only lead to disappointment, especially in the new enemy aspect. I've already read speculation, orcs, necrons, etc. New enemy does not mean new faction. It's probably about new units, maybe even elites and bosses for existing enemies. If the creators wanted to add a completely new race, they would probably do it as part of a story expansion and after paying for an additional license from GW. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Immediately when I heard new enemy, I personally thought like of a single new unit type that would be added. Perhaps they would add like buffs to the hordes or something like that. We'll see if it pans out to be an entirely new faction type. But yeah, that seems to be a bit of a stretch. Although I would count on something like that being added down the road if we do see a lot of engagement with players loving the game post-launch. And hey, they're going crazy, purchasing cosmetic items and really supporting the game. Then the dev team would be like, we can do this. Let's keep supporting this game post-launch. And yes, it's my favorite time of the video to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. But remember, I'm still doing the Space Marine 2 giveaway. Check out that link in the top pinned comment of this video as well. But let's get into this. It says, the last time I saw so much blood in a video game was in Splatterhouse 2010. 40K is perfection. I noticed that they are not shying away from the gore, and I freaking love it. Also, we have this one right here. The roadmap looks freaking epic. Honestly, haven't been this hyped for a game since Arkham Knight. I was so surprised that they added a horde mode in there already. I had seen that as a highly requested feature from you guys in my top comments, and boom, already they were like, hey, yeah, we're going to do that. Chill, it's going to be all good. So I'm extremely curious about the horde mode, and it's really cool also, I'll say this real fast, that they are going to be updating both PvE and PvP. I was a little bit worried that they would have some updates where they would be completely neglecting one of those. Again, long term, we'll see if they adjust based on the popularity of those modes. They might have to, you never know. But hopefully all of the modes are equally as possible. That would mean that I think this game would really thrive. Now, we have this one. It amazes me that this game has not even released yet, and we have a roadmap for it, and Helldivers 2 has been out for months now, and we still haven't seen a roadmap. Can't wait to join the Space Marines. Yeah, it is such a bummer what has happened to Helldivers 2. They have just mismanaged that game like crazy. Now, the First Ascendant, you guys know that I've covered the First Ascendant. That's an interesting one. That dev team has been really on point about listening to their community, and I'm really hoping that Saber here is kind of like Nexon and mirrors what they did with the First Ascendant and really does listen to feedback. Kind of curious to see what happens there, but it seems like this team here really wants this to be successful in the long term. All right, next up, here it is. It says, "My blade is ready, brothers, for the lion." Hell yes. It would be badass if they did Space Marine like Helldivers, where planets are constantly being invaded. You know, I do wonder if they're mulling over that idea, considering how immensely successful Helldivers 2 was. So, you know, these games have a tendency to evolve down the road. My biggest question is, if there was a big expansion, would you like for them to go all in on like a Helldivers type cooperative experience, really expanding that in that way? Or do you want to see more like story driven expansion and then like them just keep going with, operations? But yeah, you know, something as extensive as Helldivers 2 perhaps would be reserved for Space Marine 3, because that would be a monster undertaking for sure. All right, so there it is. Thank you all so much for the comments. Stay tuned here for more Space Marine 2 news and updates. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.